Survivor
Yeah.
Specialist Phil and Alexa are back with Cole is finally gone, and Mike just did something. Not really sure what. He sat there, he made a big stink, played his idol, even though he voted for Cole, and Cole went home in like a landslide vote. We're going to have to try to break this down because I sure am confused.
I think Mike wrote the Declaration of Independence. I think that's what just happened.
Like, I just don't. Maybe he stole the Declaration of Independence. That's what it feels more like.
Cool.
It feels more like he just pulled the Nick Cage and was like, "Hey guys, I'm gonna go out of my way here, and I'm gonna steal the Declaration of Independence, no matter how bad of an idea it seems." And that was him playing this idol tonight. I don't get it. He made such an argument that, oh, you got to get rid of Joe, blah blah blah, which is great because he's trying to put the target on himself and Joe. But why did he then turn and vote for Cole? And why did he play the idol? Like, he clearly knew he wasn't going home tonight. So why did he play the idol? Unless he was hoping that Joe had another idol that he could play for somebody, which he didn't. But I figured Joe would have probably told Mike at that point. I just don't understand the entire mindset of this to then turn and vote with Cole anyway. And Ben only gets one vote, and Ben never had a chance to go home. So what was the point of playing that idol? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not really sure with what he was doing with that either. The vote part, I really don't understand, because up until we saw who voted for who, I kind of understood why he was doing that. And then to see that he just ended up turning on his own tribe anyways, you wonder why he made that whole speech, because then he became the French or England, whoever he didn't want to pick.
Yeah, he America ends up beating England anyway. That's what he ends up saying.
Yeah, that's what he ended up saying. But then he joined England. So
yeah, it was a really weird way that tribal went down. I wasn't really sure why it went that way. I'm not really sure what Mike's whole overall goal was, but if he doesn't play the idol, I'm fine with it. He's trying to cause a ruckus and get everything going, but to not play the idol makes it really confusing. Lauren talking about throwing the dirt on himself and everything. That was weird because Lauren's getting she's getting positive, and then all of a sudden she starts talking about throwing dirt. Do you want to throw more sand on yourself here and bury yourself further? You're already in such a hole. And I just feel like that was a theme of this episode is people getting very, I don't know, would you say mad? I don't know if you would say mad maybe. But they were getting very heated over things that were clearly intended to get them heated. And they were all falling into the trap. Yeah,
and when it comes to we talked about this right before we went live, but when it comes to the Joe, the way that he spoke to Chris, the way he spoke to Ashley, I am a self-admitted never ever been a fan of that kind of gameplay. So I watch that and that just bothers me. But what's so crazy about this is Ashley and Chrissy, maybe this is because they were antagonized, but probably because they were the ones who were more forward thinking than the rest of their alliance. But they're saying, guys, Joe is purposely doing this. He's going to look for an idol because we're keeping this guy around. And the thing with a group of 7 dragging along a quote unquote goat, which is I guess what they're using Joe as, all 7 of them want him. So are then they all going to eat themselves just to have this guy with them? And then he very well could go on to win it, because at that point, if Joe makes it to the end, how can you not vote for him? This guy should have gone home at the first tribal council he goes to, and they're keeping him around even though he's clearly bothering them. And Mike called them out for that, and Mike ended up going with them, which makes no sense. But I liked what Mike was trying to say with that. So I'm just so surprised that they're still keeping him around, because yes, it'd be one thing if he was just bothering them, but the fact that we've watched 20 minutes of him tonight just digging for an idol shows that he's probably going to find one again.
Yeah, I mean, he was looking for it on the boat. He's going to the middle of the cake.
Oh, that was hilarious.
That was really funny. That was really funny. He's just digging underneath the flag. I mean, the problem I think is right now we're watching these people play, and we're watching Joe antagonize them, and we're watching Mike antagonize them at Tribal, but we're not wanting to root for them because they're falling into the trap so easily. Mm-hmm. It almost reminds me of what Tyson used to do to Sierra, where Tyson was clearly just trying to antagonize Sierra, but Sierra didn't really buy 100% into it. She'd be like, I really hate this guy. But she wouldn't sit there and do what Chrissy's doing, what Lauren did, even what Ben did last week. They all are just falling right into the trap to the point where you're like, oh my God, can you not see that they are totally just playing you? Like, just ignore them. Like Chrissy eventually got up and walked away. Just do that right away. Just get away from the guy. Get out of there. There's no reason to sit there because that is his goal, is to push and prod. And you know what? You might not like it, but if it's working, which it 100% is right now, go for it. Keep doing it because whatever.
Yeah. And that's why I'm so like, and that's what I was like kind of trying to say with this. I hate that gameplay so much, but I am finding myself being like, you know what, Joe, like go win this thing. Because all these people dislike you so much, but they aren't getting rid of you. So win it. Like, go on and win this. You deserve it, like, to be able to survive all of this. So good on Joe. Like, I'm giving him all the credit for that. Like, good on him for capitalizing on the gameplay that he needs to play, because it's been working for him. These people don't want to be his friends. And if they don't want to be his friends and they're going to keep him around, he's going to spend all of his time digging for the idol, antagonizing them, and then end up voting with them because they're clearly asking him to vote with them.
Yeah, and that's kind of what's happened. That's like what Mike, I guess, was trying to say is like, you've made such a monster out of Joe, but none of you are going to get rid of him. That should be telling you that once it hits final 8, you're still not going to get rid of him. And like, that's Mike knowing like, I'm going to be next. I'm the most likable. So maybe he even played the idol tonight thinking it might be him because he's the most likable guy there.
I think he thought it was him. Because, I mean, to be fair, he did get votes his way. It was just more for Cole. And it's so true, though. Like, if these 7 can't see that each of them wants to keep Joe around at this point to get to the final 3, they're sitting there saying Joe's not a threat. And I think Ashley said it tonight. It's like, he is a huge threat. Like, are you kidding? He can go find an idol whenever he wants. And, like, if you're not looking at that as a threat, just go back and watch Samoa. Russell was never going to win that season, but how many people's games did he ruin? Exactly.
I mean, that's what Joe can do.
And you know what? Russell got to the end. Russell didn't win. He got to the end 2 times back to back because he got those idols. And the thing is, Joe isn't Russell. Like, there is humanity to Joe. Like, Joe's a good dude. And I think they realize that because sometimes they laugh with him. Sometimes they like him. So if he gets to the end, I think he has a much better chance of winning than Russell ever did.
Yeah, and Russell still almost beat Natalie White. The thing is, if Joe goes to the end, who's he going to be sitting next to? And right now, if Joe gets to the end, that means this entire alliance is eating each other. Right now, they seem like a very bitter bunch of players. And I'm saying that watching them lose their cool so often. Like, Ashley lost it tonight, telling Joe just shut up. Like, you just don't do that on Survivor. Like, I get it. He's annoying, but get up. Just walk away. That's what you have to do. And like, I know you're laying down in the hut or whatever, but you know that Joe knows he is the biggest. He is going home. You know, Joe knows he has no shot. So that is why he is doing what he's doing. And you need to know that and just walk away from it every time.
Well, I think when it comes to Ashley and Chrissy, like, their reactions don't bother me as much because they don't bother me at all because they tried to make something of it. They got bothered with Joe. They yelled at him, and then they tried to get rid of him. We didn't see anyone else try to get rid of him. The rest of them are perfectly okay with him staying there. So at least Ashley and Chrissy said, guys, he is so clearly playing this type of game to get to the end. He needs to go. And no one listened to them. Yeah,
exactly. But you see this alliance already has cracks. I mean, it was pretty amazing how, like, the Ryan, Devin, Ben thing, and Ben ends up getting a vote here tonight, and Ben still looks like he's like the lead target there because
I thought Ben was going home. I mean, they were piling on him, but I was pretty fooled by that.
I was just liking that it was Ben telling Chrissy, no, nobody's mad at me. Maybe you and Ashley. Like, what?
I think I wrote down that exact quote. He said, Chrissy said, people are feeling steamrolled, which is like a really good way to approach someone instead of saying you are doing this or I feel this. She says, people are feeling steamrolled.
The way Chrissy did it compared to what Ashley did was way better.
Perfect. And then he said, no, they're not.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, maybe you and Ashley, but the thing is, like, Chrissy has Ben and Chrissy respect each other more. I don't think Ashley has Ben's respect, and that's why, like, Ashley was more frustrated because she couldn't approach it in the way Chrissy did. And then
he didn't listen to either of them.
He didn't listen to either of them, but Chrissy was able to take a much more a better approach than what Ashley did, because Ashley just had to kind of be like, Ben, are you kidding me? Like, and kind of like get defensive, where Chrissy was able to kind of like sit down and talk to him.
Yeah, but I don't think that's Ashley's fault. Like, I think Ashley was just so frustrated that no one was listening.
No, and that's what I'm saying. I think it's more because Chrissy and Ben already have like that mutual respect that I don't think Ben respects Ashley nearly as much. And I love Ben saying, you got to play this game with your head and not your heart, as he's voting out Cole because Cole's disrespected him the entire game, and keeps around Joe because Joe is no threat. It's like you personally wanted Cole out the entire time. That's all you've been talking about since you stepped foot on a beach with the guy. Like, don't tell me you're playing with your head and not your heart, because if you're playing with your head, Joe goes home tonight. Or Dr. Mike goes home. Cole is the least threatening one out of all of them, because, yeah, Cole might win a few immunities, but guess what? There's going to be a random puzzle immunity challenge that Cole is not going to win. Like, Cole's also not going to find an idol. You know, granted, he, you know, saw where an idol was and then Joe went and picked it up, but Cole's not going to actually find an idol. And so that's why I think, like, to vote out Cole here is the wrong move.
I just think any move that isn't voting out Joe is the wrong move right now. I mean, I think we said this 2 nights ago, voting out Desi was the wrong move. I think voting out Cole is the wrong move. I don't know. It's just this alliance, like the way that these Pagongings work is that this alliance is eventually going to have to eat themselves. But this is the first time where it's so clear that when it gets to 8 people, all 7 of them want that 8th person. Normally, they just want to get rid of that 8th person. So they're going to start eating each other earlier. And there already seems to be enough tension there, like with the Devin and Ben conversation regarding Ryan's idol, the way that Ben, Ashley, and Chrissy have interacted. There's clearly tension there, but we're seeing them continually vote together, and we're seeing them bring on these desperate healers to vote with them. So there's enough power still there. It's just, when is it going to break?
Yeah, and so, like, the way I look at, like, I could see this playing out moving forward is I could see now Ryan loses Devin decides to side with Ben. I could see Ashley decides to go inside with Devin because she was already really tight with Devin, and it's like, hey, you guys are willing to get rid of Joe. Dr. Mike goes with them and Lauren goes with them, and it ends up being Ryan and Chrissy and JP who are on the outside looking in and don't have a chance to really play the game you know, even if they use Joe for a vote or two. But that's kind of what I'm thinking might happen here, because even though Ashley, like, I think Chrissy and Ben, because they had a good relationship first, and now the relationship is kind of falling, or not necessarily falling apart, but they're definitely seeing things differently. Them and Chrissy's never going to vote out Ryan, but now Devin and Ben are willing to, and Ashley would be willing to, and Mike would be willing to. So I really think that the Ashley or the Chrissy and Ryan alliance there, I think that one you're going to actually see fall apart first, which I didn't think would happen.
Yeah, I didn't think that was going to fall apart at all. And I was expecting this, probably because I was reading a lot into the preview, but I was expecting a lot of negativity to go towards Ryan with the Devin and Ben conversation. But it turned out to be more of like that will be revisited, because Devin was clearly upset that Ryan told Ben. And I mean, the thing about having an idol in Survivor, or having any form of secret in Survivor, is that if you tell someone, there's no guarantee that they're not going to tell someone else. And I understand that he was going to Ben to try to earn some trust there. But Ben said it himself. He said, I might be flipping my own game on its head, but I'm going to tell you that Ryan is an idol. And Devin played it very well by not revealing that he already knew that. But Devin had the same reaction either way, that, okay, Ryan does not have as much faith in our duo as I thought he did.
That's what was good about the Devin situation, is Ben actually went over there, and instead of Devin being like, oh my God, you know, Ben betrayed Ryan, it's like, Ryan betrayed me. Ryan's telling me, and now he can't trust Ryan because he was apart from Ryan for a little bit, and he thinks, oh, me and Ryan, we're so tight, and then he finds out from Ben that they're actually not as tight as he thought, because Ryan's told somebody else about that idol. And it makes sense why Devin would think he's the only one. They started out in the tribe together, they voted together. It makes sense. Actually happens, it is sketchy, and I'm glad that Devin reacted the way he did, and I really do think that this is going to bite Ryan in the butt. He's getting too confident, and I think he's going to get voted out with the idol in his pocket.
In his pants.
He keeps saying in his pants. I love how he won't say pocket.
No, it's deep in the boxers. But yeah, I guess I don't know. Yeah, we're seeing slow downfalls for Ben and Ryan, and I think Chrissy had a really great episode. I mean, after multiple episodes of,
I think your internet is bad.
oh no, really?
Can't hear you.
Can you? How about now? Am I better?
Are you there?
Am I better? Hello?
Hi, now I can hear you. I don't know if it's you or not. Live chat tells Lexa's disappearing.
It's probably me because I'm in a new apartment, but I'm on Ethernet. Everything should be fine. No one's saying anything. Okay, so just if like let me know if I keep cutting out.
Yeah.
So anyways, what I was saying is that we've had multiple episodes of seeing like negativity towards Chrissy, but I think she had a really great episode because we saw this bond with her and Ashley. I think it is tighter than what we've been led to believe. We haven't seen any relationship with them previously, but clearly they're still somewhat tight. And I think we're seeing her understanding that she can't be married to Ben. She can't be stuck with him because I think now there is a little bit of tension there. And we don't really know where Ryan and Chrissy are as of this week, but I'm not sure. I think Chrissy is going to be smart enough to know who to stick with and who to get rid of when that time eventually does come.
Yeah, I think, but at the same time, I mean, it's hard to say if she's actually going to have the power to get rid of the right person because right now it seems like, yeah, she wants to get rid of Joe, but it also seems like because Devin is no longer as tight with Ryan, I think Devin is now willing to turn on Ryan, and Devin and Ben are now a lot tighter, and I think Ben would then be willing to turn on Chrissy. Plus, Chrissy's coming up to him saying the truth, but I think that in Ben's eyes, that's like, why is she challenging me? Which that's how he's been super defensive about anybody who challenges him. So I actually think that can end up hurting Chrissy, where she just ends up on the wrong side of the numbers without really ever lying or saying anything wrong. But just because Ryan pushed his game too far, and then Chrissy went up to Ben thinking, okay, we're tight, I can figure this out, and then it didn't happen.
Yeah, I think when it comes to the Ryan, Chrissy, Ben, Devin square, I can't figure out who at the end of the day, who is the tightest, who actually trust each other. Because I feel like Ashley is is tightest to Chrissy and Devin. And I don't know if Chrissy and Devin are particularly that tight. So it's like a weird circle of relationships. I just don't know which one is the most concrete. I thought I did, but every week it changes.
Yeah, no, it does. And that's why I think that we're finally going to start to see people fall apart here. This alliance going to fall apart. They're going to actually start playing the game a little bit more because now you have Joe and you have Mike who both prove like, hey, we're going to play. We're ready to play. And then you put that on top of everybody else who – you know, you have JP who's just going to follow Chrissy, whatever Chrissy does, but Devin's no longer just following Ryan, and Ben's trying to lead this entire game. And really, Lauren was shooting down Ashley like crazy, shooting down Mike like crazy. It was a little weird episode. I was getting really big on like this Lauren's going to win the game bandwagon, but now I'm not so sure because tonight was a little weird. And once again, like you're calling people out when you don't necessarily need to. And like Mike is clearly just pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And it's like, guys, just stop.
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like they're all just falling into these age-old traps very easily. And it's so easy for me to say that as someone who's comfortably sitting on my bed right now instead of actually on the island. But like you said, like we've been saying, just don't say anything. I think when it comes to what Lauren was saying to Ashley, I feel like that's her way. She's very no BS. We've learned that. I think that's her way of saying, like, let's all just shut it down. Just shut it down. I feel like she knew what Mike was doing. She just kind of went about shutting it down in her own way, which is giving Mike exactly what he wanted. But still, every time I finish that sentence, Mike ends up voting with them. So I don't even know what Mike wanted.
Yeah, unless he actually did want Cole to go because he wants to keep Joe around too. I don't know.
This idol feels wasted.
It does. It really does.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm really. It was a weird episode, and I you know what, I feel pretty bad for Cole. I think I didn't live with him. He didn't eat any of my food. He never shoved me to the ground when I was digging for an idol, or digging for a fake idol, whatever. But he was like finally grasping this game, and I think he was having a lot of fun out there. And I think that group just really, really didn't like him. And you feel bad for him because I don't think he's a bad dude at all.
Yeah, and it's crazy that it comes down to just he was, one of the final two in that challenge against Lauren. And, Lauren toughed that one out really well. I mean, she was going up and down like crazy. I was like, oh my God, this thing.
That challenge looked horrible.
It did look horrible. It really did look terrible and painful.
Every single person who got off of that was clutching their back. And JP, he jumped off, grabbed his back, and then they cut to Jeff talking a couple minutes later, and JP is still grabbing his back.
All I could think was he was pulling the Blair Witch Project. If you've seen the end of Blair Witch, like where the kid's just staring at the corner of the wall, that's what JP was doing. Like Jeff is facing one way, and JP's just holding his back, facing into the trees. And I was like, oh, put him in the corner while they kill the other. Like, what the hell is going on?
What's going on over there? But that's how tough that's how tough this challenge was. The fact that instead of JP like screaming in agony that he didn't win, he just had to grab his back because it hurt so much.
Well, and really, Chrissy's positioning was the best positioning in terms of just try to keep your legs as straight as possible and just hunch your back and put all of the pressure, like try to keep the pressure off your back and legs. Try to keep it off your lower back as much as possible, because if you're in a squatting position, that's going straight to your lower back. Yeah. So she tried to take it off of there and at least put the pressure point somewhere else where the pressure point isn't also holding up every single pound of you.
Yeah, it was kind of she was like evenly distributing it throughout her back, which was really good. Lauren was doing like a variation of it. Chrissy's like small enough that she could just kind of level it. But my mom and I were watching that, and I was like, man, I hope she doesn't have back issues after this. Like that, like horrible posture is just it looked so painful. And the fact that it lasted 20 minutes, that's some serious like glute muscles.
Yeah, I know. Pretty crazy. And Ryan kind of had the same thing going on. I mean, you had Cole do really well in this challenge where he's taller than a lot of the people. So I thought he did pretty good. But I think these types of challenges, like I'm all for these because these are still an even playing field, but it still comes down to will and strength over like, oh, we're going to give an advantage to somebody who's shorter with smaller feet, who weighs less, blah, blah. It's just like, go out there, stand there. We don't really care what happens.
Yeah, just stand there and look like a fool until.
Yeah, exactly.
I think
and when Joe went
squatting Probst.
Squatting Probst, yeah. I don't really know why.
I don't either, but I like it.
So that happened, but then we also had the reward, which was a pretty good reward. The this challenge where you actually had to shoot the balls and everything, and like everybody got out to like the leads. You have to. I mean, JP barely in the episodes, but to jump off the thing and then just go under and stay under and untie the thing and then come up, it was like,
oh my God, Captain America! It's like everyone one-upped each other. Like Ashley, the lifeguard, just like crushes it, and then JP just goes underwater and never comes up.
It never comes up. Yeah, I thought that was great. It was just like, it's so funny though, like with JP, because he's just like under there, comes up and like doesn't even like react. He's just like, yeah, I did that. Okay, good. Yeah, I mean, he is by far the best at the challenges this season. He might not be great at like these individual portion, but in terms of like actually doing a challenge that's not just like an endurance challenge, JP is like by far.
He's done pretty well in the individual ones. It was down to him, Desi, and Cole last week. He didn't do great in this one. How was it the first one? I think he got about halfway through on the first one. Yeah, he's been like okay in the individual.
He's been okay, but everything else is like the ones where you actually have to swim, shoot something.
Oh yeah, he's been an animal.
Great at that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, so that happened. The 5 go on the reward, which was JP, Chrissy, and then the 3 healers. The healers really aren't able to make any type of movement at all on this. Joe's just running around looking for idols and stuff, which was clearly pissing off Chrissy. And this is what you have to do though at this point. You're just doing it in front of everybody. I mean, because at this point you have nothing to lose. Like, what the hell? And actually, it's buying him more time because they are foolishly just being like, forget it. We can get him whenever. I would always say get rid of Joe, because even if Cole wins the next immunity, you just hope he wins the one or loses the one after that. You got to get rid of Joe because Joe can find an idol at any time, can just wreak havoc. And maybe that's why Mike played his idol. Maybe Mike knew he was staying, but he wanted them to all have the fear of, hey, there's another idol hidden now, and me or Joe can pick it up. Which, if that's what Mike is thinking, that's really forward thinking. Because now they're saying to themselves, oh, crap, what if Joe did find the idol? What if Mike did find the idol? Whereas right now, before going into that tribal council, they weren't really thinking that. It was just like, oh, if they don't play it, then neither of them have it.
I know, but why? But like, why give up an idol for the sake of possibly finding another idol when you're down 2-7.
Oh no, I know. I'm just saying, like, that would just be really forward thinking if that's how he's trying to get in people's heads. Because, well, at this point, like, people know that Ryan has the idol. Like Ben knew, and not that Mike knew this, and Mike didn't even know that Ryan had the idol, but he saw them all digging for the idol. I'm pretty sure Mike was like, somebody probably found it. So maybe he's saying to himself, hey, like, let's put some more doubt in people's minds, and just in case I was getting all the votes because of this, let's get it out of here.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what he says, because I'm really confused. I'm really curious as to how that all went down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What else happened on this episode? Desi took 45 minutes to get into tribal council. That happened. That was awkward.
Well, I think they did. I know. Yeah. I think they did it on purpose to hear Mike say, just trust me. That was another thing. He said, just trust me to Joe. And I don't really know where that got both of them.
Because I was thinking, like, oh, Mike's really going to, like, throw somebody under the bus and then play the idol for them. And then they'll all vote for the 3 healers will vote for Ben. And then Ben goes home. Mm-hmm. But that didn't happen.
Yeah, I think, and then I think I always love, like, when either the first juror or, like, the pretty girl comes out and all the guys are like, oh my God, Desi just ate a cheeseburger and she looks hot.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And yeah, it turned into, like, possibly a live tribal. We heard some whispering, but there were no words. Like, there weren't any subtitles, so I figured it wasn't anything, like, particularly important. But I don't know. I'm just so perplexed by Mike's move because I forgot that this had happened, but when he said to Joe, just trust me, like, he built up this whole thing, putting this huge target on both his back and Joe's back. I just don't know. I don't know.
Unless, I mean, hey, and another thing could be like Mike's just trying to be as unlikable as possible too, along with Joe, and be like, hey guys, who wants to work with us? And maybe it works next week. I mean, I don't know. Is next week the 2-hour episode?
Oh, so next week could be a back-to-back Mike and Joe. That would suck.
But I don't think it will be a back-to-back Mike and Joe. But I wouldn't be surprised if the first one was a Mike or a Joe, and then the second one was somebody else. But then again, this season also started the end of September, so I don't think that they're doing this. There might not be any boring boots.
That's true. But the thing about, like, whether or not Mike is trying to make himself as unlikable as Joe is it doesn't really work when you have 2 of them, because now there's only 2 outsiders left. So one of them is going home, unless there's an idol and a necklace, but that's only so likely.
Yeah, you just need to find a group of 3 who's willing to say, hey, let's work with the 2 that nobody likes.
Yeah, and we see, who do we see in the preview? We see Lauren, Ashley, and someone else go over to them.
Yeah, I forget who the other one was.
Yeah, but maybe Chris. I really don't remember. But those 2 were the main. Like, Lauren seemed to be kind of leading that charge.
Well, she really likes Mike, from what I've seen until tonight.
Yeah,
at the trial.
And she's got that extra vote. So I mean, she talked about it tonight, and as Jeff mentioned, no one even noticed the fact that only 10 votes were read. Now there's less people, so it could be a little more obvious. And this could be Lauren's chance to flip the game upside down.
Yeah, for sure. And it is crazy. Nobody noticed that there was an extra vote. And like I love that this episode started with Lauren being like, Ben, don't tell anybody that. And Ben's like, oh no, that's yours. That's all you. And then Ben's running around telling Devin that, the idol thing. So just, coming full circle. Mm-hmm. Let's do comments.
Actually, let's do comments. Do you want to do MVP, LVP? Because we always forget to do that. I've been staring at this and I don't really know. I have a lot of
on my team.
So your team is Joe and Ashley. My team is Ryan, JP, Devin, Lauren. Vaughn has Chrissy, Ben, and Mike. I think I'm going to have to give Mike the LVP because he put a target on his back. I'm only saying that he wasted an idol because he then voted with that group. Mm-hmm. So Mike is going to be my LVP. For my MVP, I'm actually going to throw that at Ashley. I'm going to give that to you, Phil. I'm going to give it to Ashley. I think Ashley is in a pretty decent position, not just edit-wise, but mostly just because I think people are coming on to her. I think having Chrissy on her side is going to be really good for her. She hasn't made any enemies. If anything, I think she has made a larger enemy out of Ben or Joe because of the contentious relationships she's had with them. There's no threat for her to go home, and she has a tight relationship with Chrissy and Devin, who within that alliance of 7, no one is particularly targeting. Everyone's going for Ben. Everyone could be moving towards Ryan. And for her to be in the middle of those 2, I think puts her in a really, really good position.
See, I see what you're saying. I'm just gonna say Joe's the MVP because I don't really believe that anybody is the MVP tonight. But I'll say that Joe's the MVP because whatever he's doing is working. Like whether it gets him to the end as a GOAT and he gets no votes, that's fine. But the fact that he's still in the game and still has the capability to wreak havoc when he is literally wreaking havoc in front of people and telling them what his plan is and then doing it and it's pissing them off, but they're not doing anything about it. Yeah, everybody is completely annoyed by Joe. Nobody wants to play with Joe. Everybody wants Joe to just shut up. But they keep keeping him around. So whatever he's doing, he's just got to keep doing it because right now it's gotten him to the final 9, and I could see it easily getting him into the final 3. And if he gets to the final 3, maybe he can convince some people like, hey, you all hated me, and these 2 were cowards who took me to the end because they were scared to go up against you because they thought, oh, Joe's the easy guy to beat because no one likes him. That might be a compelling argument for some people.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, your team did well tonight considering that there are only 2 people on it.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, I had to get rid of Cole eventually. So.
Yeah. Who do you have for LVP?
Mike. I don't get it.
This is a Vaughn. Vaughn gets the LVP because, he has Ben as well.
Yeah, I just didn't get it. All right, now let's jump over here. We have Survivor Patty. So I guess Lauren is putting all her eggs in Ben's basket. Will it be a mistake for her, or should she turn on him soon to get to the end and take 2 goats with her like JP and Cole?
Well, there's one issue with that ending.
Well, this was before the
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think she was at the beginning, but like we've been saying earlier, I think there is a strong relationship with Dr. Mike, and I think she is getting a little frustrated with Ben. So I don't think she's particularly committed to anyone, which I think is oddly a good thing.
Yeah, and I really think that she might be like tighter with Ben and Mike because she has a little bit more in common with them. But yeah, I definitely don't think that she's like, oh, I need to work with them no matter what. So she could go really any way and not be the one who betrays people at this point, which is a good spot to be in. We have
Steel Punch. Damn, Joe is a sharpshooter looking like Kyrie Irving out there. Yeah, we didn't even talk about that. It was him versus Ben, right? Like he was sinking him, and Ben got 2 or 3 in a row. Those were good. And Ben was going like deep underhand. Joe was shooting it. They were great. That was awesome.
Yeah, I thought that was really good. Joe killed that challenge, and I mean that whole red tribe just did so much better than the blue tribe. So yeah. Sarah says, do you think Devin sticks with Ryan or goes with Ben? I'm thinking he goes with Ben at this point. I really do.
I think he goes with Ben, but I think he's smart enough to go with Ben only if others will go with Ben. So
yeah, he's not going to completely betray Ryan, but hey, I still think Ryan's.
I think he feels betrayed. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Ryan's closest ally is actually Chrissy, and I don't even know if he's told Chrissy about the idol yet. And then also he's telling Ben about it. So hey, I think that he's actually going to end up siding with Ben over Ryan.
Yeah. Did I cut you? Oh no. Andy Vogel looks like Dr. Mike is trying to create a live tribal, but was missing the key element: new information. Why paint a target, waste an idol, and vote for Cole at the same time? Yeah, we don't know. we've been asking that question for the past 42 minutes. But yeah, I mean, if he was trying to create a live tribal, I think that would be a really good idea. But he kind of, I mean, we only saw that conversation when Desi was walking in. We didn't see it after. So the idea of like just creating live tribal would actually have been a really good idea, just if it was capitalized.
Yeah, and that's like the thing. Like he didn't have new information. He didn't really come in. Like his plan was to like try to get like himself, but like he didn't have a wow moment of like, wow, I didn't know that was going to happen. I didn't know that about that person. I didn't know this. All he really did was say, you guys are being idiots by saying Joe's the worst person ever. And then you just keep keeping him around, you hypocrites. That's pretty much what he was saying, but that's not new information.
Yeah.
Next we got Survivor Patty. I wonder if calling Ashley a goat saved Joe. Okay, here we go. This is the big one. We didn't talk about this specifically. Joe saying this is the one where it kind of irked me that Chrissy and Ashley got so mad at this. This is the one that I kind of, because but everything else Joe's saying, it's like, okay, like that could annoy you, that could annoy you. When Joe calls you a goat and he's the biggest goat and you know he's the biggest goat, to get like offended by that and then go back at him is like almost a waste of time. And they like took personal offense to that, which I thought was like shocking because I just don't get, like, why are you taking personal offense to somebody calling you a GOAT in the game of Survivor when he is the GOAT and he's literally just throwing crap at the wall? And, like, you have to be able to see that. Like, I guess some of the other stuff I was okay with, but this was, like, a big one for me where I was just like, man, like, Ashley, you fell right into the trap of him being like, I know how to get under Ashley's skin. I'm going to say she's the GOAT. And, like, you better get a little more heated because right now, you're just a GOAT. And, like, Dr. Mike is standing there like, oh, I'm in this conversation. Like, he had no, like, ridiculous.
Like, oh, I'm here now. Oh, yeah. Another funny thing that Dr. Mike said is when Joe is just, like, digging a hole to China in front of the tribe flag, he's like, good for him. Good for you, go, Joe. That was super funny.
Yep.
Brad Harmon, I'm still wondering why Mike would play his idol and waste it by him and Joe still voting out Cole. I guess we could stop reading those questions because unfortunately we don't have the answer to them. We don't know. Yeah, Joe voted for Cole too. So that goes back to this whole thing. They're still having conversations with these healers. So it's confusing. I mean, it's one thing to be keeping Joe and Mike around and to not like them, but then to loop them in with your plans afterwards just seems so backwards.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I get, like you said, I think it's time we just stop reading those because we don't actually know.
Yeah,
like,
we don't
I
know.
just don't get it. Gamer Girl says, do you think Ryan telling everyone about his idol will be like the Will Wall situation in Millennials vs. Gen X where it will have no effect whatsoever? That still had kind of an effect. Adam just completely muted it.
Yeah, and Will ended up going home.
Yeah. Well, when he told everybody it was that was at the Zeke boot, and Adam just muted it because Adam got up and no, that was you're right. That was when Will tried to change the vote, and then Adam played his idol. That was that move. Okay, that's what I'm thinking.
Survivor Patty, Chrissy is starting to not like Ben barking orders. Will this change her alliance to him? I don't think it'll straight up change the alliance, but I think it's getting the cogs to turn.
Yeah. Sarah, what are the odds the final three contain a member from each original tribe? I mean, I have a hard time seeing it, but at the same time, like, you can easily get a Joe in, like, at this point, if they're really going to keep keeping him around. But I think it's going to be tough to still get a healer in there with Joe and Mike as the only two options, and with outnumbered 7-2.
Yeah, it's still tough. Gamer Girl, what do you think Cole's chances are of playing again? I hope he plays again. He was fun to watch.
No way.
I don't know. I would like to see him play again because I'd like to see him, like, grow as a player because I think he would play much better on a second time. But I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. I think people would be annoyed if he came back. Unfortunately,
he's not coming back. There's no way. Survivor Patty, why isn't Ryan taking out Ben yet? It sounds like Devin is flipping to Ben now. I think that, like, Ryan really wants to trust Ben and sees Ben as, like, a powerful player who's also tight with his tightest allies, so he's going to try to keep him close. One of them's going to get the other first. Yeah.
Robbie Steinman, do you think JP is getting the Troysian edit, and what do you think about everyone's edits so far? I mean, I think, like, Phil and I've been talking about this a while. I mean, like, my mom was watching with me, and she said, I don't like that guy in reference to Ben. And I was like, oh, well, I mean, if you watched him earlier, there's a lot of different stuff going on. I think a lot of these people are getting a very, like, natural edit. I mean, they're just being themselves, and no one is an obvious hero. No one is an obvious villain because we're vilifying we want to give this entire tribe the LVP tonight. I mean, I think that says it all. When it comes to JP, we talked about this. I don't think they're going to give us much of him.
Yeah. Survivor Patty, I see Joe makes himself look like a goat being loud and annoying. So far it has worked. Will he fool people into the narrative? He's a good talker at tribals. He is definitely good at talking at tribals. So I don't know.
I don't know. Giovanni Oriana is Dr. Mike the George Washington of Survivor since he left England to join the U.S. Did George Washington leave England? Am I, like,
George
really?
Washington born in, like, America?
Yeah, I was about to, like, really question my history knowledge there.
I feel like he was born here, but
yeah,
I don't know.
But please correct us. I'm
not a history. I don't do history podcasts. Gamer Girl, on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think Joe's chances are in making the final three? I say 5 or 6. There you go, Phil. That's on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm going to say, like, an 8 because I think that they're just missing it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, part of me says 1 because like at this point, why don't you get rid of him? But on the other hand, I mean, he 10 because they're keeping him at this long. So I guess to even it out, I would say 5.
There you go.
Yeah. Do you want to go next?
Didn't I just
Did you guys go?
I just did Gamer Girl.
Captain Quint, Ben is a jerk. You could tell he wanted to rub it in with Cole. Cole seems like such a nice dude. I have no idea what is an issue with him. Yeah, Ben like shook his hand at the end. I don't think that was meant to be like in a condescending way. I really don't. I get why people would think that, but I really don't. I think Ben is a good guy. I think Ben just got really frustrated with Cole, understandably, but we didn't see him saying Cole is so disrespectful, Cole's such a jerk on this episode. And this was when Cole went home. So maybe there was like a newfound respect for each other there. I'm not sure.
Yo, also, I'm just going to throw this out there. I just looked up where George Washington was born because I needed to know, and because forget everybody who says we're wrong. Bridges Creek Colony of Virginia, British America, present-day Virginia. So not England.
That's what I thought. Yeah, he's from Virginia. Like Mount Vernon.
It wasn't technically America yet, but like he wasn't born in like England.
Okay, see, we know what we're talking about. Because, Mount Vernon is his home, and that's in Virginia.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Because we're being told that he definitely, you could say he was still born in, like, the English America,
colony.
Because whatever, but he was born in a
North
colony
America.
in America. Anyway.
Okay, clearing up.
Had to get that out of the way because I'm not going to be called dumb on that one.
Yeah.
All right, which one did you just read? Did you read Captain Quint?
I did.
Zoned in on George Washington.
Yeah.
Travis Herrod, my 333 are top Lauren, Chrissy, and Ben, middle Ryan, Devin, and Mike, bottom Ashley, Joe, and JP. You want to do this?
Oh yeah, I guess we should do that. I'm just gonna go. My top, I'm gonna go Lauren, Devin, Chrissy. This is likelihood to win, right?
Mm-hmm.
Top, I'm gonna go Lauren, Devin, Chrissy. Middle, I'm gonna go Ryan, Mike, Joe. Bottom, I guess I would go Ashley, Ben, JP.
All right, you'd put Ben at the bottom. I'd put Ben in the middle. I'd probably go Lauren.
Yeah, the Ben one is pretty reactionary.
I think I would go Lauren, Devin, Mike, and then I would go Chrissy, Ashley, Ryan. Or I'm sorry, I would go Chrissy, Ben, and Ryan, and then Ashley, Joe, JP. I still think Joe's gonna have a really hard time winning, but I would love to see him get to the end and make that argument.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Next one.
Giovanni Oriana, not for nothing, but we're looking at 4 heroes, 3 hustlers, 2 healers. Something's got to give. I'm not really sure what needs to give, but I think I guess heroes, like there's a lot of heroes left, and we kind of they did not start out very hot. So
yeah, and the way that like the hustlers have kind of shot themselves in the foot in terms of ever aligning together, like nobody on the hustlers is closest allies with another hustler. So I wouldn't even say like the hustlers could team up with the healers to vote out the heroes. Like I don't think it's that black and white.
Yeah, for sure.
So, we got Gamer Girl. When do you think Lauren will use her double vote? And why didn't Ben tell Devin about it? Because he didn't need to. He already got him shook with the Ryan information. He doesn't need to give all the information up. And I think he feels a lot closer with Lauren than with Ryan. Mm-hmm. And in terms of the double vote, I think she's going to use it soon, but she's definitely going to be using it it'll be her who's she's going to use it at a good time. And I don't think she's going to need to use it. She's going to use it when she wants to. There you go. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, I think I think she'll be pretty smart about it. I think she'll use it at the right
I think she'll
time.
use it at a turning point,
Yeah, for sure. Sarah, why do you think nobody has tried to push Joe's buttons? Because I think Joe's buttons can't get pushed. I think that's the simple answer there.
And that's the thing. It's one of those where if you try to push Joe's buttons, he's going to come back at you harder, and you have to be ready for him to come back harder. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing as when Will and I used to podcast. If you push Will's button, he's going to come back harder. And I can't sit here and you have to know that's coming. And the problem is I think all of them are so tired of Joe that they're not willing to push his buttons because they don't want to deal with him anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. We got Survivor CBS fans. Do we really believe that the majority alliance is crashing? Next episode is just a tease of what's not going to happen. I think it is going to happen. I mean, if it next week is 2 hours, we're definitely going to get at least, one episode where they switch up. But I do think that it is happening. I don't necessarily think this 7 is the final 7.
Yeah. I know, and I'm tempted to say I hope not, and that has nothing to do with the people. I just don't like pagongings, as I think most people don't. Giovanni Oriana, are Dr. Mike and Joe, the Doc Brown, and Marty McFly trying to break this alliance of 7? Are they trying to break it? I don't know.
I mean, I think they're definitely trying to get their way in, so they need to break it. But I don't know if they're actually trying to break it or just take 2 people with them. It's weird. So I don't know. Survivor CBS fans, do we really believe that? Oh, wait. Oh, I read that one. Jimmy O'Connor. Remember when Brendan said JT had good soul back in Tocantins? Ben, speaking of Devin, really makes me feel good about his chances as a potential winner candidate. After all, he's one of the power players nearing the climax of this season. I will say Devin is the person I like the most on this season. In terms of just likability, he might not be the one I like watching play the most, but Devin is the most likable person on this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Ryan Jakes Taylor, maybe recency bias, but I've now declared Ben my least favorite Survivor ever. He makes Philip look like Sandra. Okay, guys, Ben is not a bad person at all. I don't even think Ben's that bad of a player. He's just getting annoyed because he was on an island with 2 people who he didn't get along with. Now I feel like a Ben, I feel like I have to defend him.
Yeah, exactly. Even though I don't get it.
It's all good. Ben is it's perfectly fine.
Yeah. Mel, who do you think is winning based on the edit? Personally, I think it's going to be Chrissy or Lauren. I mean, we just did our 3-3-3, so that kind of gives our hint.
Yeah. You want to read another one?
Yeah, Giovanni, did Mike play his idol knowing full well Joe hunts nonstop, so he'll play it and negate all 7 votes? Who knows?
That would be such a risk.
Yeah, exactly. Especially since they're going to split the votes again, and you're really going to have to pull at least 2 people onto your side to even make it possible. Yeah.
Giovanni Oriana, funny how at the start of the season, Joe and Mike were at odds, and now they're partners in crime. It's as if Todd and John Robert ended up like that. Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of a cool storyline. The first person that Joe attacks when he gets on that Healer Beach is Mike, and now they're the only 2 remaining.
Oh, and remember, right before they did the swap, we had Joe saying, I kind of like Mike. We have this relationship, and now they're the last 2. It's kind of fun.
It is funny.
Survivor Patty, you think Devin knows about Chrissy's fake idol that Ryan told her, or will he share the information with Ben? What will the consequences be if he does? He doesn't know that Chrissy has that other idol. I don't even know if Chrissy knows that she has that other idol. I don't know where that is.
So Chrissy, we never saw on TV that Chrissy told him about a fake idol, but apparently he might know. I'm not sure. I don't know, but I mean, it's probably going to come up at some point.
Yeah.
Larry Miller, Alexa, here's a new drinking game. Take a shot every time Ryan says "in my pants." That would not have gone well for me tonight because we podcasted immediately after the episode instead of me having 3 hours to sober up. So
exactly. Survivor Patty, I love that. Yeah, I love that Mike was giving some love to Joe for fighting hard in this game. I think there's some mutual respect for one another, man to man, player to player. Yeah, there's something there. He's also playing everybody up a little bit.
Larry Miller, does he look like she's ready to go to the prom? Yeah, she totally does. You take the next one. It's directed at you.
Larry Miller, Phil, why does LVP not Joe? Alexa's right. Joe's creating enemies. Whoa, dude. Yeah, but he might be creating enemies, but the way he's playing the game is actually working for him right now. He keeps on surviving, and in a normal season, somebody plays like him and they go home. But these people aren't getting rid of him, and he's getting to keep playing the way he's playing. And he said, I'm going to go 100% no matter what. And that's what he's doing. And I mean, he does it outside of the game. We see him on Twitter and everything. Joe is who he is in the game and outside of the game. That's who Joe is. He doesn't care. And he said that to Ashley. He's I do not care at all what you think. And I think that nobody on Survivor has ever cared less about what other people think than Joe. And right now it's working for him. Tonight it completely worked, and he didn't go home because of the way he's playing. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's making enemies, but he's making them purposely and strategically. So that's why he's not LVP. Giovanni, is this season giving you Game of Thrones vibes? No one has died yet, so I guess.
Although I think JP was trying to. He just went underwater. He's I'm not coming up. I'm done with
this. Screw this game. I'm out of here.
I'm out. Chris Fernandez, you see Devin playing a game like Sarah played. Everyone wants him as their number one, seemingly.
I don't know if I don't think they're playing the same game. Maybe I think people are looking at them the same way because everyone thought Sarah was their best friend when Sarah was just out to stab all of them. I don't think Devin's playing that kind of game, but I think in terms of like who people like and who people want, I guess they're pretty similar.
Mm-hmm.
Let me take this one. Larry Miller, Alexa, I think you're being hypocritical. Much like the Alliance of Seven tonight, you enjoy Joe, but not Russell. But those two are great because they can be entertaining and change up the game, and we need players like that. They aren't the worst humans ever, just a rant. I mean, I understand why you think that, but Joe and Russell to me are completely different. Joe is not an actively malicious player. What Joe is doing isn't malicious, it's obnoxious and it's annoying. Russell was actively malicious. He walked onto that beach on day one and said, I'm making a dumb girls alliance. Joe would never, ever do that. And like Phil said earlier, Joe has no buttons. Russell has buttons. Russell has a massive, massive ego, and Joe doesn't. Joe said, I'm not here to make friends. I'm literally just here to win $1 million. It's the only reason I'm here. Russell was there to prove a point, to prove that he's the greatest player ever. I do not agree with any Joe and Russell comparisons. I don't think they're anything alike. So I don't think I'm being hypocritical in that sense because like I said, I don't like Joe's style of game, but it's working for him. So I can't criticize it.
Joe is much more Tony than Russell.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I don't like the game. I don't like watching that kind of game, but it's working for him. So I have zero right to criticize it. And now I want him to do well with it because he's proven me wrong.
Mm-hmm. So we got a little sports guy who says, what's the best blindside of all time? Sarah and Kagan having second chances because of Wentworth's idol player, Michaela and MVGX. Do you think this post merge has the chance to make a great blindside, and how? I mean, I like the Michaela the one the most out of those three for sure. Do I think this post merge has the chance to make a great blindside? I really do, because the way, like, Ryan is the one who's being set up right now heavily to be blindsided. He talked a lot tonight about, I'm putting myself in such a good position, making alliances with so many people. I have the idol. I'm using it as a power tool to get myself further in the game. I could see him end up blowing it because of that.
Yeah, I think there's a chance just because they're playing this group of 7 up to be so tight. So any of them who goes, especially like right now with 2 healers left, that could be a pretty big blindside, but I don't think anyone would have the kind of reaction that Michaela did. And that's what made her blindside so good.
Well, and because she was such like a fan favorite at the moment too. It was like, Michaela's definitely safe. Yeah. And then one last thing, that was it for comments, and we're at like an hour. One last thing. If you watch the episode tonight and you watch the reward challenge preview thing on the episode, I'm pretty sure that was Will shooting the ball. Just had to throw that out there. I'm pretty sure that was him.
I missed it. I always
his form was absolute garbage, but you could tell like it was definitely his head. It was
his
that
blonde gangle.
It was that blonde gangle. Exactly. Yeah, that was Will. I'm pretty sure that was him shooting that ball. And if it was, well, everybody just got to watch Will on Survivor tonight, so be excited.
Pretty darn cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Right, well, this is awesome. We're at an hour and it's not 1 a.m. I'm like ready to go for a run.
Right. I'm excited because it's 7:02 and I'm not just getting off of work.
Yeah, this is awesome. Yeah. So everyone, like, happy early Thanksgiving for international viewers. I know you probably don't celebrate Thanksgiving, but use tomorrow as an excuse to eat in excess and be thankful for everything that you have. It's a wonderful holiday. You want me to wrap it up, Phil?
Yeah, go ahead.
Cool. So because Phil has a lot of free time tonight, he's likely going to write his 5. So keep an eye out for Phil's 5 tonight. So we'll be posting that on Facebook tonight. We'll be posting it on Twitter tomorrow. In the meantime, leave a comment on this video if you want us to read it during Sunday's predictions episode. In the meantime, tweet at us, Facebook us, vote for MVP, LVP. I'll be running my spotlight on whoever we vote for MVP this weekend. Keep an eye out for, prop bet. Oh, I cut myself off. Prop bet. I don't think we had met.
Good job cutting yourself off.
What was the episode title?
It was Ben who said it. It was Fear of the Unknown.
Okay, so Ben got the episode title.
Yes, he does.
Did Cole say anything? Yeah, he kind of like fist bumped. So Cole said something before he was voted out. Cole might have had less. Did Cole get voted out? Get any votes before tonight?
I can look that up on
Okay, because he got
the
4
Survivor
tonight.
Wiki.
He got 4 votes tonight. I guess we'll check that out later. Anyways, so on Saturday we'll also
we can update that.
On Saturday we'll post the fantasy game standings. Still anyone's game. But yeah, in the meantime, tweet at us, Facebook us, listen to us on iTunes, tell your friends, and have a very happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yeah, we'll see you this weekend.
Bye-bye.